Welcome everyone. Today we will be discussing Marxist Feminist Literary Theory in English literature. Marxist Feminist Literary Theory is an approach to literature that combines Marxist and feminist theories to understand the ways in which literature reflects and reinforces social, economic, and gender inequalities. The term, Marxist feminism, is believed to have been coined by the British activist and writer, Michele Barrett, in her influential essay, Women's Oppression Today: Problems in Marxist Feminist Analysis, which was first published in the journal, New Left Review, in 1977. Marxist feminism is built on two main pillars: Marxism and Feminism. Marxism is an economic theory that argues that the capitalist system of ownership and production perpetuates inequality and exploitation. Feminism, on the other hand, is a social theory that focuses on gender-based oppression and aims to achieve gender equality. Marxist feminist literary theory emerged from the intersection of these two critical approaches, and its early proponents included scholars such as Juliet Mitchell, Michele Barrett, and Christine Delphy. These scholars argued that the study of literature must take into account the intersections of gender and class, and that literature reflects and reinforces the dominant ideologies of the society in which it is produced. Marxist feminist literary theory argues that literature is not a neutral reflection of reality but is instead a product of social, economic, and political forces. Literature reflects the dominant ideologies of the society in which it is produced and can reinforce or challenge those ideologies. Marxist feminist literary theory also recognizes that women and other marginalized groups are often excluded from literary canons and that their experiences and perspectives are often ignored or marginalized. Therefore, Marxist feminist literary theory aims to highlight and analyze the ways in which gender and class intersect in literary texts. Its main tenets include: literature reflects and reinforces dominant ideologies. Marxist feminist literary theory argues that literature is not a neutral reflection of reality but is instead a product of social, economic, and political forces. Literature reflects and reinforces the dominant ideologies of the society in which it is produced, and those ideologies can be analyzed through the literary text. Intersectionality. Marxist feminist literary theory emphasizes the importance of intersectionality, which is the recognition that individuals have multiple identities and experiences that intersect and influence each other. Gender and class are two of the most important identities that Marxist feminist literary theory considers, but other identities, such as race, sexuality, and nationality, also play a role in shaping an individual's experiences and perspectives. The canon. Marxist feminist literary theory critiques the traditional literary canon, which often excludes women and other marginalized groups from the literary tradition. Marxist feminist literary theory argues that the canon reflects and reinforces dominant ideologies and that it is important to broaden the literary canon to include the perspectives and experiences of marginalized groups. Representation. Marxist feminist literary theory argues that literature has the power to represent marginalized groups in society, but that representation can also reinforce stereotypes and contribute to their marginalization. Therefore, Marxist feminist literary theory emphasizes the importance of analyzing the ways in which marginalized groups are represented in literature and the effects of those representations. Cultural production. Marxist feminist literary theory also recognizes that literature is not the only form of cultural production that reflects and reinforces dominant ideologies. Other forms of cultural production, such as film, television, and advertising, also play a role in shaping cultural values and beliefs. Therefore, Marxist feminist literary theory aims to analyze the ways in which culture as a whole reflects and reinforces social, economic, and gender inequalities. In English literature specifically, Marxist feminist literary theory has been applied to a wide range of texts, including novels, plays, and poetry. It has been used to analyze the representation of women, the role of class in literature, and the ways in which literature reflects and reinforces dominant ideologies. Marxist feminist literary theory has also been used to critique the traditional literary canon and to advocate for the inclusion of women and other marginalized groups in the literary tradition. Here are some of the key Marxist feminist theorists and their contributions to the development of this critical approach. Juliet Mitchell. Mitchell is one of the most important Marxist feminist theorists, and her work has been influential in shaping the field of Marxist feminist literary theory. In her book, Psychoanalysis and Feminism, Mitchell argues that the patriarchal family is the site of women's oppression, and that the overthrow of the family is a necessary step in achieving gender equality. She also argues that the traditional division of labor between men and women is a product of capitalist society. Michele Barrett. Barrett's work has focused on the intersection of gender and class, and she has argued that women's experiences are shaped by both their gender and their class. In her book, Women's Oppression Today, Barrett argues that women's oppression is a product of both patriarchy and capitalism, and that the struggle for gender equality must be linked to the struggle for economic justice. Christine Delphy. Delphy's work has focused on the concept of sex gender, which she defines as the social construction of gender that is based on biological sex. She argues that gender is a product of social relations, and that women's oppression is a result of the way in which gender is constructed in society. Delphy also critiques the traditional feminist focus on women's equality with men, arguing that this approach fails to address the fundamental power imbalances between men and women. Nancy Hartsock. Hartsock's work has focused on the intersection of gender, class, and race. In her book, The Feminist Standpoint Revisited, Hartsock argues that women's experiences are shaped by their social position, and that marginalized women have a unique perspective on the world that is not available to privileged groups. She argues that this standpoint can be used to challenge dominant ideologies and to imagine new possibilities for social change. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak. Gayatri Chakravorty Spivak's work on Marxist feminist theory focused on the concept of strategic essentialism. She argued that while essentialist categories, such as gender and race, were socially constructed and not biologically determined, they could still be used as a strategic tool for political activism. Spivak also critiqued Western feminist theory for ignoring the experiences and perspectives of women in the global South. Bell Hooks. Hooks has argued that the struggle for gender equality must be linked to the struggle for racial and economic justice. In her book, Feminist Theory, From Margin to Center, Hooks critiques the traditional feminist focus on middle-class white women, arguing that this approach ignores the experiences of women of color and working-class women. She also emphasizes the importance of cultural production in shaping social values and beliefs. In conclusion, Marxist feminist literary theory is an approach to literature that combines Marxist and feminist theories to understand the ways in which literature reflects and reinforces social, economic, and gender inequalities. Marxist feminist literary theory emphasizes the importance of analyzing literature from the perspective of marginalized groups and highlights the ways in which gender and class intersect in literary texts. Thank you for attending this lecture on Marxist feminist literary theory in English literature.